That is how you make an impactful debut, ladies and gentlemen, with a man that should have been on national television years ago. So bra fucking blow, folks. Let's talk about it. I'm John Renton with my review of WWE Smackdown from the Allstate Arena in Rosemont, Illinois. Let me know your thoughts on this show in the comments, please. Yes, for the first time in just about 2 months, I decided to review Smackdown. I'm glad I picked this episode. It had less of the bad shit, and, well, it had some okay stuff, and then it had some good shit in the beginning and in the end. But honestly, Jacob Fatu being on WWE television, smart, really smart. He really should have been in that company a while ago. He should have just been on a bigger stage a while ago. I got to see him at multiple indie shows in Seattle. Got to meet him a couple times. Really, really, really nice guy. And just super sweet, super down to earth and everything. But once that bell rings, if he is coming towards you, you get out of the way or he's going to throw you out of the way, one way or another. So, yes, the Allstate Arena, 18,500 seat capacity, 15,000 people according to WrestleTix, and they were here for Punk. He didn't make them wait long, like Mussolini and Kennedy, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3. He's the cult of personality. Big pop for Chicago's own. He plays up to the fans. I was a little bit nervous when he ran towards the barricade and got up on the chair and stuff like that. I'm like, Punk, you're not as young as you used to be. You hurt your foot the last time you went, or you tried to go over a barricade. But nevertheless. So, talking about how hometown pressure can really, really get to you. And he just basically needles Drew. That Drew couldn't, live up to the pressure. It was pushing down on him. And however the lyrics go. But then he asked how many people in the Allstate Arena tonight were there on July 17th, 2011, when he promised he would win the WWE title. He didn't crack under pressure. He continued to basically push forward, and then he was gone from the company for 8 days. And then they rushed the whole goddamn thing because they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. But nevertheless, we got CM Punk opening this goddamn thing. Really, really good stuff. And that he decided to do it the Chicago way. He's going to ruin Drew's career. He's going to ruin his life. He's going to bury his career 6 feet under. And now Drew has taken his ball and gone home. That probably should have been a tipping point that Drew was going to show up tonight after quitting on Monday. But then Heyman shows up, and they do the My Name is Paul Heyman. They do some ECW chants. No doubt Heyman would be over in Chicago because he didn't stiff any of the fans on payouts like he did the ECW wrestlers. And no, I'm not going to forget that. But there's We Want Roman chants, all this stuff. He goes over the history of him and Punk, the fact that the tribal chief, respects CM Punk, all this stuff going on, everything. He's planting the seeds, he's groveling, he's all like this. And he says, I need a favor from you if I do this, for you. I need you to do me a favor. He says Solo's pissed off. He wants every city to be his. Heyman didn't want to call him the head of the table. Basically, Heyman is being held hostage against his will. Being zoned out right there. He's just absolutely just being locked in. He can't escape. And he basically says, if you don't leave, Solo's going to kill you. Solo and the Tongans are going to kill you. Sounds like an R&B group from the 70s. So there's fuck you Solo chants. At least that's what I heard. Now, they weren't loud enough to where Fox was doing the bleeping or the person fell asleep at the censor switch. And then here's Solo and the Tongans. So, Paul, before, I decided to do this, what was your favor? He says, take me with you. I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. And that's good. That's a nice way to plant some little seeds right there. I think we're going to get Punk on the side of Roman and his team in War Games as Survivor Series, because that's got to be where we go. And that really should be the only War Games. Because I don't think you need to add another War Games right there. You can have a women's War Games on another show if you want. Because I have a feeling the whole Bloodline Civil War thing that they're going to be doing probably will take up like a goddamn hour when it probably doesn't need to take that long. But nevertheless, before we get there, Punk is like, Solo, I acknowledge the fact that I don't see a bloodline. I see fake-ass Usos and a cosplay tribal chief. And boy, that got some attention. And then Cody shows up in a suit so loud, how in the world would you not heard him coming? I mean, seriously. Very, very loud suit. And then he says, Solo, let's not even wait. Let's just take on each other tonight. Let's not have a face-to-face. Let's take on each other tonight. Don't worry, folks. That match will have a definitive winner. I guarantee it. Unless you watch the show. And then you know that's not the case. But if you didn't, I guarantee it. Just ignore the other words that I said. And this went about 20 minutes. And you know what? It was the highlight of the goddamn show besides the end. Enhanced security, or extra security, because of what the Wyatts did on Raw. You can check out my review of Raw. And I can guarantee you this before I go further. Intermittent weekly reviews for WWE until they get better. I'm kind of burned out on some things. And I got a lot of movies to watch. And I got a lot of, projects around the yard that I want to take care of. And I'm just, trying to ease back a little bit. So if you don't get reviews some weeks, like, I guarantee you're not going to get one July 1st, because I'm going to go see a sneak screening of Max XXXXine. So there we go. That's with 4 X's. That's not how that works. So, anyway, because I love Pearl and X going to give it to you. Now that, basically now that DMX is rising from the grave to basically come kill me, let's talk about the fact that Bianca is there with Jade in all pink, trying to basically say, we're going to get our tag titles back. But Bianca's like, I'm going to go qualify for the Money in the Bank. They're already teasing tension. I think they're facing off at SummerSlam. I think they have to. I almost think they have to. Cody then talks to Orton and Owens basically says, this whole idea that you said earlier about nobody being at ringside, that's not going to work. And Cody's like, yeah, you're probably right. Cody is entering Sting levels of trust with people. So, Bianca, Mia Yim, and Chelsea Green had a Money in the Bank qualifier match that started 30 minutes into the show, and 7 minutes later, Chelsea Green won. That's about the level of energy you're going to get from me. It wasn't even that it was a bad match, it was just a rushed match. But Chelsea stole it, fuck it. Give Chelsea the briefcase. Just have her win the briefcase. Why not? Honestly, I don't care. Give her the briefcase. It'd be better than some of the alternatives. So, suddenly Bayley was besieged by a human death mask. Oh, that's Blair Davenport. I'm sorry, my mistake. So, don't do that program, please. For the love of fucking God, don't do that. Bayley can only do so much. As much heavy lifting as she can do, she cannot take the auraless, one that is Blair Davenport to any kind of passable match. Heyman then is told by Solo, get the Tongans in line. Get them to do something, take out Owens and Orton, and when you come back, we're going to have a talk. As he grabs him by his tongue. That was his tie. It's hard to... his tongue, and I'm sorry. So, suddenly, McIntyre is beating up CM Punk in the back. This is after Waller and DIY do really, really bad scripted stuff. Even though Waller's a pretty good talker, I don't want to listen to Gargano unless he's getting his shit wrecked by Drew McIntyre, which would have made the segment even better. But no, we suddenly hear boom, boom, boom. The garage door rises up, and oh my God, CM Punk is there, bloody. And then Drew carries him to the entranceway, dumps him. Nick Aldis is upset. And Nick gets shoved by Drew, and Nick was pissed. Nick was like, I'm still a wrestler. That's pretty good, actually. I think they're around the same age, if I'm right. I think Aldis might be like 1 year younger. But anyway, they do that. That's good. This is good. This is a way for Drew to get some revenge. They have built this about as well as they can, given the circumstances. They have built this thing beautifully for a while. They really need to deliver a SummerSlam. For the love of God, deliver at SummerSlam. Punk has to be close to be medically cleared if they're going to do something like this. I'm just saying. I mean, I know it's an angle, but they got to be close to doing something like this. Or got to be close to making the match official. So, then Drew does the stretcher job, gets taken to a hospital. And Tama Tonga, Carmelo Hayes, not getting a TV entrance, and Randy Orton face off in a 3-way Money in the Bank qualifier match. And Orton basically destroys both guys, dropping them on the announcer's table. The crowd was into it. There was a superplex to a pop. Orton doesn't have a lot of time left. Orton also wasn't going to win this match. We get a double DDT, and then Tongaloa, or whatever the hell they're calling him now. I'm going to call him Tongaloa because it just sounds like a better name. Mello gets the shock roll-up 1, 2, 3, so he pins Orton. Okay. And watch Melo dive off of 2 ladders, from in between 2 ladders, and hit double leg drops, and then basically break his ass just for the entertainment of the Toronto audience and the millions around the world watching. Raw recast of the Wyatt 6 stuff, and there are people that like this, but this might actually be one of the things that gets me to just say, I'm going to go find something else to do other than Raw. LA Knight, comes out to a pop, calls out Logan Paul. Here comes Santos. They get in a brief scuffle. Logan Paul hits LA Knight with the loaded punch after a post spot. I know what they're doing, and I'm not going to complain about how they're trying to build it, but if LA Knight does not beat Logan Paul for the U.S. title at SummerSlam, they might as well just not push LA Knight ever again. Because he's toast if they don't pull the trigger there. He honestly is. So, Waller, Owens, and Andrade El Olio got the second Money in the Bank qualifier match for the men. The crowd was into it, don't get me wrong. But before that, Owens got attacked by the various Bloodline members that were not involved in this. And, well, actually, there were no Bloodline members involved in this. It's just the fact that the Bloodline's all over the goddamn show now. And he was selling the knee. There was an apron bump. Waller took a big powerbomb to the floor. The crowd was into it. Tower of Doom spot. And then Andrade shockingly pinned Waller to a pop. So there we are. Andrade is in the match. He ain't gonna win, but there you are. And then Mia is dressed down by Tiffany, despite the fact that neither of them were wearing much of anything. And then Nia comes in and ruins the whole thing. I'm going to once again say that if Nia's involvement in this show had been anything bigger, I might have just said, nah, fuck it. And I'm actually going to say fuck it because that's one match I'm skipping over at SummerSlam, I'm telling you right now. Until any of the creative minds that are behind Nia getting pushed are pushed out of the goddamn company, I'm not going to watch anything with Nia. Are you out of your goddamn mind? She hasn't improved in the ring. She's just a human slug that can't do anything, is goddamn careless. So there we are. Kayla looked great. She was talking about extra security. And then Cody makes his entrance. Cody and Solo ends after about 90 seconds when shenanigans happen. And then basically there we are. That's pretty much it right there. Now, one thing before that, though, is Solo basically told Heyman, hey, by the way, you may have said Punk's off limits, Cody, all that's, and Cody just needs to be softened up, but Roman isn't coming back. And then they had the match, and it barely went 90 seconds. And then Owens and Orton showed up. We got this big old schmoz. Solo was left on his own. Solo's begging in the corner, and then suddenly... And then Jacob Fatu, who must have dropped like 40 pounds. It's not that he was fat or anything like that. He just looked like he trimmed down. He looked fucking great. Best shape I've seen him in a while. And he just lays waste to everybody. Popcorn vendors tossing janitorial staff over his head. He could. He didn't, because he's a respectful guy, but he could have done it. Beats up everybody, clears out the announcer's table, lays Cody on the goddamn announcer's table, and clears it. Doing the splash from the top rope to the floor, because he's that goddamn agile. That is how you make an impactful debut. And again, bravo. Bra goddamn vo. That is really, really good stuff. I'm not going to say the show is necessarily great, and you're not going to get regular SmackDown reviews until A, they go to USA Network, and B, they stop pushing Nia Jax and get rid of the dead weight that they have on that show, and in the company in general. But this was fine to tune in for. Jacob Fatu in WWE, finally. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Riplin. I'll see you soon.